Hey, how's it going? Today I wanted to talk about Space Engine, specifically the fact that even though Space Engine is intended to just be a piece of simulation software, it is effectively a horror game, and when I want to use it, much like trying to have sex with a woman who's got a kink for vending machines, it comes with a price, except in this instance the price is me just scaring the absolute crap out of myself. So I figured why not spend this episode just inducing astrophobia in everybody? Let's do it. Okay, so in case anybody's been living under a rock, Space Engine is a piece of software. I got my copy on Steam, and it basically gives you a procedurally generated one-to-one scale entire universe to explore, and that's it. It populates that universe with real things that we know are there, and in the instances where we don't know exactly what is in a particular location, it basically makes it up, but it does it in a way which aligns with what we would expect to be there. So for example, the stars near to the sun are exactly the stars that are actually there. They're all the right sizes, the right luminosities, the right colors, they're at the right distances, they've got the right planets around them, but we don't know precisely the details of all the planets in every single star system, and particularly if you go to the far side of the galaxy or you go to an entirely different galaxy, it will just procedurally generate stuff for you to find there. You can literally leave the galaxy completely and go to the far side of the fucking universe if you want to, and boy oh boy is there some scary shit in this. First off, I always slightly piss myself when I load in, because I don't remember what I was doing the last time I was using Space Engine, so I usually find myself just floating in a black void, and I have to turn the camera really slowly while wincing at the screen, because I don't know if I'm going to be jump scared by a supermassive black hole 2 inches from my face. I'm hoping I can adequately describe the feeling that you get when you're playing this game and moving the camera around at ridiculous speeds and seeing all these giant objects, because it really is a unique feeling. I have got it from some other pieces of media before, specifically when you warp into a star system in Elite Dangerous. I've gotten a similar feeling out of that, but Space Engine is really on another level, and I think the thing that freaks my tits out about it is that you're seeing celestial objects, and those objects are so gigantic that they're just completely impossible to comprehend. Like, even if you were using a VR headset, and Jesus Christ, that would be even more terrifying. But if you were, how far apart are your eyes? Like a few centimeters? Unless you're staring at the floor directly beneath you, everything is effectively at infinite distance from you. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell how big or small something is just based on your regular binocular vision that you use to tell how far away the next car is in front of you when you're driving or whatever. That doesn't work for celestial scales. Like, if you look at the sun and you look at the moon in the sky in real life, the sun isn't obviously like 400 times further away, right? Both objects are basically at infinity. They might as well be painted on the sky as far as we're concerned. And that's less bothersome because we're not moving at speeds that cause those objects to significantly change in position over time. You can fly a fighter jet at Mach fuck and still the moon essentially looks stationary. But in Space Engine, you can control exactly how fast you want the camera to be moving. And you can go from meters per second up to kilometers per second, up to thousands and thousands and thousands of kilometers per second, and then it starts measuring it in fractions of the speed of light. And then you can exceed the speed of light because the speed of light's actually really slow given the scale of the cosmos that we live in. At a certain point, it stops measuring your speed in multiples of the speed of light and starts measuring it in astronomical units per second, which is how far the Earth is from the sun. That's 1 AU. So if you're going 10 AU, you're going the distance from the Earth to the sun times 10 per second. And even then it doesn't stop. If you want to travel from the Milky Way to Andromeda, those are millions of light years apart. So if you want to get there in a few seconds, you need to travel many thousands of times the speed of light, and the simulation lets you do that. But I don't know, man, something about the combination of having something accurately modeled as absolutely gigantic and yet still being able to play with it as if it's like a marble that you're holding in your hand. There's just, I don't know, there's some weird disconnect that happens. I don't know if I'm the only one that this happens to. I don't think I am. I think this is a thing that other people experience, but maybe I'm just going to sound like a fucking crazy person, I don't know. But I get a weird feeling, like a really uncomfortable, like actual phobia type feeling, specifically around gas giants or stars or black holes when I'm moving them around really fast. It just feels so incredibly wrong. Like, if I turn the camera too fast and there is a black hole there, I have the same reaction to seeing that as I would to like seeing a big spider suddenly appear. Like, I don't know what it is that, like, genuinely while I was playing this to gather some footage, there were multiple instances where I had to like either not directly look at the screen or like physically actually get up and walk away from the screen and take a few deep breaths because it was making me feel really fucking uncomfortable. Specifically if I like zoom into a black hole too quickly or something like that, I get this feeling like it's almost like I'm gonna fall into it. It's like the black hole is behind me, or like it's gonna expand beyond the screen and consume me somehow. I don't know, but it's visceral. It's really visceral. It's not just like, oh, it's a little bit quirky. Like, no, it's a real phobia response. And annoyingly, importantly, I don't think it actually happens when you're just watching a video of it, because you kind of know that I've curated whatever it is that I'm showing you. But if you've ever played a horror video game, you'll know how much more it feels like you are in a situation when you're in control of it. And that's how it feels moving the camera around in this. It just, like, it feels like you're going to fall into the clouds of a gas giant and be destroyed forever. It's a bizarre feeling, and it's fucking terrifying. Everything involving the scale of this is terrifying. I'm actually slightly bemused that there isn't some kind of indie horror game that uses this concept, at least that I know of. There's one or two things that do something kind of similar. The Utility Room is a good one. That's a VR game with incomprehensibly large structures in it. But what I'm imagining is, I guess you could do it as like a puzzle game. I'm not a big puzzle game guy, but maybe the premise is you're just some random asshole, but I don't know, maybe God has given you some powers just to look after the solar system for a few minutes, and you're just stood on a planet, but you're able to move other planets around in the sky, and you've got to arrange them in a certain particular pattern in order to pass the level. And maybe there's certain obstacles you've got to kind of squeeze them around, but then if you accidentally put a gas giant right next to the Earth, maybe the Earth ends up just being engulfed by it or something. I could imagine this being terrifying. Sorry to interrupt, this is just a quick message to say, statistically speaking, you're probably not subscribed, so I'll make you a deal. Press the subscribe button and I won't come over to your house and do this.
If you're Patrick, then who's that?
Alright, thanks. Back to the video. I once saw this image, and I thought about this image today, and that's what made me think that I need to do an episode on this specifically. It's the only image that has come close to giving me the feeling that I get when I'm actually using Space Engine myself. It's this image. This was posted on the Space Engine subreddit like 4 years ago. It's a moon orbiting a super Jupiter, so that little planet over there is significantly bigger than Jupiter. Like, that's a gigantic thing. That's something which on its own normally would give me the heebie-jeebies if I'm like playing about with it in Space Engine. But these colossal celestial objects and the massive spaces between them are all just dangling above what looks like a landscape, and that landscape is actually the uneven surface of a supergiant star. It's cool. Really, really big stars have these weird sort of turbulent surfaces to them, so they're not just perfect spheres. Some of them, if they're rotating really fast as well, can be kind of oblong shaped. It's just the relatively slow rotating, low mass ones that look like our sun, where they're kind of roughly spherical. And I don't know, man, just something about the scale of this whole image, just everything about it. Like, how many millennia would it take a person just to walk up one of the... well, actually, first of all, it's a sun, right? It's made of plasma, so you can't physically walk on it. But, like, if you imagine it as a landscape, the depth of that canyon there is potentially larger than the diameter of our entire sun. Imagine standing on that planet and seeing that as your sky. Just... I don't know why it bothers me so much. It bothers me in a cool way. I like it. I like being bothered in this way, but boy, does it bother me. Of course, in this particular instance, everything would be ridiculously overexposed, because in reality, if you looked at this horizon, it would just look blinding white. But anyway, that's details. Put your fucking sunglasses on. Anyway, that scale is absolutely nothing compared to some of the other stuff that I was looking at earlier today. Specifically, check this out. That's a black hole. Now, how far away do you think that black hole is from the camera? If you guessed about 1,000 kilometers, you are exactly correct. This is a very small black hole. Well, not small, it's average. It weighs about 4.5 suns, so it's a little bit less than 30 kilometers from one side to the other. Now, second question, how far away is this other black hole in the background? Well, to give you some perspective, I'm going to have to move over there at more than 1 light year per second to get there in a reasonable amount of time. And after the camera gets settled, even though it looks like I'm not moving anymore, I am still moving more than 10 astronomical units per second towards the accretion disk. Right now, in this footage that you're looking at. That's how fucking big this thing is. Specifically, this is Ton 618. It's one of the biggest supermassive black holes that we've ever found. Actually, it's so big that it's technically classified as an ultramassive black hole. Even at this distance, like, it looks like I'm pressing the camera right up against the edge of it, and we are still 1/10 of a light year away from it. That's how big this thing is. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I found a few star systems which are several light years away from it, and some of these star systems have planets of their own, and still, this black hole and the accretion disk and the jets and stuff coming off of it totally dominate the entire sky. Like, in this footage, the black hole is almost 7 light years away. That's like twice the distance from our solar system to Alpha Centauri. You know, the place that would take like tens of thousands of years for our fastest spaceships ever to get to if they were even traveling in the right direction. Yeah, this is twice as far away as that, and it's still way bigger than these planets' actual sun in their sky, and it's so much brighter than their sun is that it's literally impossible to expose for the planets and for the black hole at the same time, because the glare of the accretion disk is just blindingly bright, even from 7 light years away. This shit is fucking terrifying. And in case you're wondering, I am pretty sure you'd be very dead if you tried to live on any one of these planets. I don't think the amount of radiation you'd be getting would be very friendly. Anyway, this is really all I wanted to say today. I'm just kind of gesturing at space and going, yeah, that shit's scary, man. I'm glad I'm not a disembodied camera. Anyway, thanks as always to my elite level supporters, Thunderbolt22A10, who sexually identifies as a disembodied camera, Nomad Greg, who excretes dark matter, Andrew Maul, who has strong opinions about black holes, John Bejarano, who can't see an infrared, but he did catch a glimpse of infra-orange one time, JDK, who originated from Uranus, Mutantious Doom, who communes with the dead through the medium of dance, Stormester Ritter, who has a fist hidden under his beard, Nikita Lurie, who's in a blood feud with a non-Euclidean entity, Aaron Rowe, who can turn his eyes backwards and look at his own brain, Bonk Chunk, who has an odd number of nostrils, and thanks to all my other supporters too. Don't forget to join the Patreon or the channel membership if you want to be featured in my video credits or chat on Discord, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Over and out.